Good morning, gamers. How's it all going? Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in today. It's Sunday. It's coffee time. Welcome back to coffee time. It's a lovely day. It's very sunny. We've got Sonic Racing going. We're having a great time. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, that's a good coffee. That's a good coffee. How's everyone doing today? I say let it run. Watching Space Marine players cry is pure joy. I agree. I am also a Space Marine player. Watching myself cry is very much joyful. It's the Pokemon show. Hell yeah, we're wearing Pokemon today. I did get some new Pokemon cards today. How's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who have we got? We got John. We got Tom. Hi, Tom. Hope you're doing well. We got Freelancer. How's it going? Good morning to you. We got Adron. How's it going? Peter. Salamander. Hello. Master Arcade. How's it going? Hey, hey, hey. How is everyone? We are live on YouTube and Twitch this morning, so thank you very much for tuning in. Good morning, D Stonks. Big Stonks in the chat. Having a great time. Having a great time. You're feeling good? I agree, Crilly. I agree. We're going to go on to that. Good morning, Life Giver. You give me life by being in the chat, so thank you very much for tuning in today. I still play Pokemon Gen 5 games in case of during lockdown. God, I'm old. I've been playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon on my DS recently. I'm like having a great time. Can we get some happy birthdays in the chat because it's Georgie's birthday? Go me. I'm leaving her for an hour so I can stream to you lot on her birthday. Exactly. So, happy birthday to Georgie. I've got some excellent pictures to put on Instagram of her later. If everyone can find their best Georgie memes, thank you very much to the host, that's one does. If everyone can find their best Georgie memes and post them on Discord, _Discord, and we'll get them on Instagram later. Happy birthday from New Zealand.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday from Life Giver. Happy birthday from Adron. Happy birthday from Capping Chaos. Bet she's glad of the peace.
Literally, yes. Thank you. I'm going to have a cup of coffee in the freezer for it. I'm not going to come on the camera because
Yeah.
I'm in pajamas.
She's in pyjamas. No, that's okay. It's a birthday. She's allowed to be in pyjamas, right? Happy birthday wishes from the Hellstorm community. Hope you spend it wearing your favourite jumper, says Rich.
I think I should.
Yeah. Shall we go to the pub in that jumper?
No. I want
Best boyfriend right there. Yeah, exactly. Piss off for an hour. I'm streaming. How's it going? How's it going? Lots and lots of happy birthdays. So thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it. Again, if you've got some good Georgie memes or good Georgie reacts, that's creaky. Then post them on the Discord, and I want to put some on Instagram later. I've got a couple already, like the fuck off Glorio. If you just wave your hand onto that chair, they'll be able to see your hand. That's all right then. Gang signs, nice, nice, brilliant. I've got my camera in this new position, so it's like lower, but it captures more. But as soon as I try and crop it out, I'm like, hello, hello everyone. Happy George Day.
Yeah.
What's George's big present? Me. I am the gift that keeps on giving. Clearly.
You can see my face right now.
The big present is when we go down to London to pick up that giant Space Marine in a few days. That's where you do a haha or a lol. I hope you gave her one of your shit merch as a present. I mean, she already stole my jumper. Hey, Chaos Core, thank you much for the sub. 2 months in a row. Hell yeah, let's get some hype in the chat. If you've got Amazon Prime, link it to Twitch. You can subscribe every 30 days and steal $5 from Jeff Bezos and give it to me. And who doesn't love stealing from Jeff Bezos and giving it to me? Appreciate it. I'm going to put that towards Georgie's dinner later. What would you like? McDonald's? Burger King? Both?
No, hell no.
You can get the chips from McDonald's and then get the burger from Burger King. Hell yeah. Pick up, you mean steal like a magpie of a chapter you are? Yeah, I mean, that's what people keep saying, but the problem is outside of a relic publication, the problem is with that, it's just stealing. Hey, Salamander, thank you very much for becoming a member. And Novicia and Adblock Guilt Free, hell yeah, thank you very much, dude, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, very, very cool. Very kind of you. You can use Adblock on the channel now, and you won't feel guilty anymore. You actually feel empowered by it. And James Whitfield with the 5. Thank you very much. Happy birthday to Georgie. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sending me donations for Georgie. I will transfer him, I promise.
You better. I'm going to put bacon on something.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much for the donations. Thank you for the subs. Really cool of you. Morning, Katie Ranger. How is everyone doing today? Now, this wasn't supposed to be a live stream. There we go. Thank you very much, James. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat. Custom fields, indeed. Hey, thank you very much for the host, Hellstorm guy. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Morning, morning, morning. Okay, so today wasn't supposed to be a live stream. I was supposed to be doing the how I became the fastest player on Twitch. Thank you very much for the host there, Uneducated Tactician. But I've had a little bit of a rough weekend. I've been a bit tough, so I haven't managed to finish it. So I'm going to try and release that for next week. Okay. So today we're going to talk about Drukhari because I'm going to try to milk that for as many views as I can before they get nerfed. So I have to move on to the next codex. So we're going to bitch about Drukhari for the next hour. But I do have to finish in 50 minutes. So I've got 50 minutes to bitch about it and chat to you guys. Is that okay? Hope that's okay. Would that work for everyone else? Can you have birthdays every weekend, Georgie, for the big donuts? Yeah, I'll only stream when it's birthdays from now on. Managed to beat Drukhari last night purely down to getting Tanglefoot his Succubus, and then he failed his charge twice. Nice, nice. But yeah, so what was I going to say? It's also Coffee Time's birthday very soon, this month. So we're going to have to plan a big live stream for that. I've been doing Coffee Time every single Sunday for the past year, nearly. So I've currently got Big John, the best artist in the land, drawing me for a coffee mug. So I'm hopefully going to have some anniversary mugs, which will be cool. I was thinking, because like, I've got a Shinji mug, which everyone might have seen. Let's just turn this down a little bit because it's a little bit distracting for me. I've got like the Shinji mug. I don't know if you might have seen it on Instagram or something. I'm going to have that done, but as me. And then on the other side, it'll be like the 52nd cup of coffee because it's a year. I thought that'd be cool. Like this mug here. There you go. Like this one. Imagine this, but me. Would you buy that as a mug? One of these? I'm just sat there with a mug, and it's me on a mug as well. But then on the other side saying the 52nd cup of coffee. Because it's the 52nd coffee time because we've been doing it. You get it. You guys get it. How cool would that be? Okay. Okay. I think that's it. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for the super chats. Thank you very much for the members. Thank you very much for the subs. Let's go into Succubus. The broken Succubus. I'm going to get my cast theme on because it's bloody brilliant and it really gets me going. Also, I want to say a massive well wish to my good friend, Mr. Valrak. He tweeted this morning that he's not in good shape. So if we can send some big love to Valrak's Twitter and YouTube channel and say get well soon, that'd be really cool. Hopefully he does recover. I don't really know what's happened. I only know what's on Twitter, but hopefully he does okay. So shout out to Valrak. Yeah, if you want to jump on Twitter or something, drop me a message or leave a comment, say get well soon and stuff like that. A mug on a mug worth a pun, exactly, man, exactly. Okay, right then. So recently, Games Workshop decided to release the Drukhari Codex. This one in particular, this little bad boy. Now, on the face of it, Drukhari looked like quite an interesting army because they were definitely underpowered compared to the newer codexes before this one came out. When they had their old codex, they were definitely not very good. They'd played the mission, but they couldn't kill anything. What this little bad boy did was add a little bit of killiness to the Drukhari, which is great. Everyone rejoiced and everyone cheered, thinking about the fact that Drukhari could actually play the mission and kill stuff at the same time, which is something they were not very used to. But what did they do? Games Workshop sprinkled in a little bit too much spice into this little codex and added a little bit too much to it, which wasn't very good. What that meant is that Drukhari became a little bit, I'd say a little bit scary. A little bit scary. The thing is like, what it is was, it's not just fix a couple of things, it seemed to fix everything, which is great for the person playing Drukhari, but not great for the person playing against them. Now, what they also did on the same day is release the Book of Rust. The Book of Rust, Warzone Gagaradon. And by releasing this, is they actually added a Cult of Strife, which is one of the cults of the Drukhari, and they expanded it even further. And also fixing witches with this expansion. And also Succubuses with the Cult of Strife, which can be found here. Now, the problem is when you release a supplement like this, which essentially fixes factions, we've seen it with Psychic Awakening, bringing them in line to what Codex Space Marines were when they got their second Codex. The problem is when you try and fix something that isn't broken, it just becomes overpowered. So what we've seen is the Cult of Strife being used quite interchangeably with the rest of the Drukhari Codex, and now we've got a bit of a problem. And that's the problem. Cult of Strife's over top compared to the other cults are viable. Exactly. I heard it had something to do with selling custodians that someone wanted. Exactly. So what this does, what this Book of Rust does, it adds warlord traits, it adds relics for the Cult of Strife, and the Cult of Strife's already pretty decent. I'm very sorry about my creaky chair, I need some WD-40. Now, the Cult of Strife means you always fight first, and if you can add one to the charge roll, you're only charging one unit, which is already great. You've got a cool warlord trait where 6s become 2 extra hits, and you've got a cool relic, and you've got a cool warlord, cool stratagem. Now, the problem is when you add this as well, which is just more stuff. There's no repeating here. This is just more stuff on top of what they already have, such as Dark Lotus Toxin, such as Competitive Edge. The problem is you get a model which is 60 points, which can put out 12 attacks at 3 damage each. That's a little bit of a problem, not going to lie. Not going to lie. The Drukhari Codex standalone is pretty much spot on. The addition of these Book of Rust rules, it just gets too much. Exactly. So the other armies in this book, the other armies in the Book of Rust are Admech, which needed something until their Codex came out. But their Codex is coming out like imminently, you know, anytime, soon as. It's got Imperial Knights, and we don't know when they're going to come out, so they needed a bit of a boost. It's got Death Guard in there, which is shown to be the best way to play Death Guard. A lot of people are saying that Death Guard are really strong when you run them as Terminus S Assault Force, and it's probably the strongest way to run them, unless you want to try and a Mortarian build. This is pure Death Guard, by the way. And then the fact that the Cult of Strife is in there, which makes the Succubus in there already good, when the rest of the Codex is already good as well. There's also the little issue with, I know people are just bringing it up, which just reminds me, is the liquefiers on racks with Dark Technomancers. The fact that you can take a 60-point unit with 2 Flamers at 12-inch range, strength 4 -2, and then it becomes 2 damage with +1 to wound with no repercussion, which is a real big issue. An overcharged plasma with no possible way to overcharge it, it doesn't make sense. And that feels like a really big oversight that they've missed. A really, really big oversight. And the fact is that you think, oh, it's a 12-inch flamer, that's great, but you put it in a raider which moves like 22 inches or something like that. I'd be happy to see liquefiers correct before Tornas open up here. So that's the thing, is what do they do with Dark Technomancers? Do they put it back to the wound roll like they did before? Because they moved it to the hit roll, which makes more sense to me, but it doesn't work with flamers, because flamers don't roll to hit. Now, what would be the fix? I think the easiest fix would make it roll to wound, but I'd like to see something more interesting. I'd like them to keep it to hit, but every time you shoot a liquefier, maybe roll 1 dice after you've rolled the amount of shots, and on a 1 you die. You know? Or roll a dice for every hit you've succeeded, and any ones you die. Maybe go gets hot back to wound is the easiest way. Maybe roll a dice for every time you shoot, and on a 1 you die. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. The problem is with Drukhari is they have these interesting builds which just don't seem to work any other way in any of the codex. Like the Triptych Whip. which is a relic whip that gives you +3 attacks. You know, it gives you +3 attacks, but it doesn't say you have to use it on the relic. It just adds 3 to your characteristic. And why is that? When every other weapon that gives multiple attacks or bonus to attacks, it says you can make an additional attack with this weapon, whereas the whip doesn't say that. It says adds 3 to your attack characteristic. So you can take the whip, put it on your back, and use a different weapon and get those 3 attacks. It doesn't make sense. They could up the points on liquefiers flat out, don't work on weapons that don't roll to hit, or go to win rolls again. Yeah, I think if they left it as it is, they'd have to put the liquefiers up points. If they changed it, the liquefiers are probably pointed correctly. If they change it to like wound rolls or like, yeah, because I think what they're like 10, 15 points already, and I think the problem here is the fact that they get buffed for free, and it's just like, why would you never do this? You know, you'd always take like 15 to 20 racks, shove them in raiders, and just fly them around and just melt everything. You know. And as you say, JW +3 attack should be for that weapon, not stating that he's asking for it to be exploited. And that's what it kind of feels like with the Drukhari Codex. It feels like there's a lot of open to interpretation, a lot of like rules written in a way that is just open to exploitation compared to other books. The issue with increasing liquefiers is you punish people not running Dark Technomancer liquefiers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Terra, I did not. Have you sent me a message? Okay. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. I've texted him, but I mean, not much else I can do. But yeah, well wishes to Valrak. You can just have one liquefy gun on every grotesque too. I think so, but you can't transport them as well. The reason that liquefiers are so good on racks is because you can take 2 for 60 points on a unit of 5, which means you have more wounds than a grotesque. You have 2 for less amount of points than 1 grotesque with a liquefier, or about the same points maybe. I can't remember how many points grotesque and liquefiers are. Let me have a look. But also you can put 2 units in a raider, so that's 4 liquefiers in 1 raider. I can't remember how raiders transport grotesque, because you just don't. How many points is a grotesque with 1 liquefier? So they're 45 points with a liquefier, the grotesque. But a rack, a unit of 5 with 2 liquefiers is 50 or 60. Nothing would make Valrak happier than Drukhari speculation. Yeah. You're saying GW write rules, some rules badly? How dare you? I am telling you that. They've been doing it for a while, and the problem is like Space Marines. I'm a Space Marine player, so I'm going to have to compare it to them. The problem is with Space Marines, they're always like the first codex, and they're always got like. There's hardly ever anything that's like really exploitable. There's stuff that's undercosted. There's stuff that's too good, but nothing exploitable. There's nothing like crazy. Like the thing is with Dark Technomancer liquefiers is they are just broken because they don't work as they should. There's no intent. The intention is you risk shooting this weapon better, but you could die with it. That's the risk, you know. It's like a plasma gun. That's what it is. But the problem is that like Space Marine books and the Necron book doesn't either. I don't think the Death Guard does either. It's just like there's nothing that seems to be like broken. You know, everything's good. It's got good units, so it doesn't seem wrong. Whereas like the Succubus seems wrong. The Dark Techno Liquefiers seems wrong. When is Curse City back? We're going to be doing it this week. We've had a couple of weeks off because we've just been a little bit busy. And it's George's birthday today, so we're not going to be streaming tonight. So it's just interesting. When I'm breaking the hot tub out, now I keep thinking about it. The hot tub meta. How well will Drukhari do against Imperial Fist? So the thing is like Imperial Fist seem like a natural counter to Drukhari because they are good against vehicles. and they have a lot of bolter shots, and they generate more bolter shots, which would be nice. So shout out to Varrock for running the best army in the game right now. But the problem is that Imperial Fist's vehicle benefit, the heavy doctrine, is only on high strength weapons, which Marines don't really spam. They spam low strength weapons, or they're already anti-tank, so they don't need the plus damage. In video games, exploiting will get you banned. It does, yeah, exactly, but this is totally fine. JW, I think he was referring to the live streams that we've not been doing. We've not done the live streams in a couple of weeks. What would be the first thing you'd fix? I think the first thing I'd fix is Dark Technomancer liquefiers. As mentioned in the chat by Vic, some very good suggestions. Either it doesn't work on auto hit weapons. That would make rack liquefiers pretty much unusable in competitive play. Well, not like unusable, but just like not looked at hardly, because the thing is that they are just so efficient for the points, for 60 points. Which is just so good, you know? So good. So if they got rid of it completely, that would be okay. If they made it on the wound roll, that would be okay, and it'd be an easy fix for everything in the codex, without it being like excluding one type of weapon. Because the problem is not only if you don't let it work on any type of auto hitting, it means every unit can't use it. It's just racks are super efficient because they're really cheap. So I think if you made it so you had to roll on the wound, that'd be okay. That'd fix everything. If you didn't have it on the auto hit, it'd be a shame, but that'd be okay. I think if you upped the points, that'd be a really bad move for the game, because you're punishing everyone who isn't running Dark Technomancers, which doesn't make sense. You should punish the people who are running it because it's clearly broken. People try to convince me codex creep wouldn't be a thing in 9. 40k punk, it's a sales tactic, you know? How many people do you think have gone out and bought a Drukhari army after hearing how broken they are? You know? I just need some affiliate links to Games Workshop's website. That's what I need. The other build that I've had to work against Drukhari so far is White Scars with triple contempt with Volkites plus 30 in Lightning Claw Vanguard. See, that's going to be really good, you know? The problem is with Drukhari is you have to really tech for them. Last weekend, I don't think people did tech for them. I don't think they were ready for it. And I think there is a lot of that in there with the fact that Drukhari are getting quite good, and a lot of good players are using them. But I don't think people were ready to play Drukhari, but now they are. But there's still a couple of things that need fixing, because we are going to see a bit of a Drukhari meta. And when Admech come out, we might not see a Drukhari meta, because Admech might be the perfect counter for them, which would make sense to say they are super shooty. But the problem is we can't rely on codexes beating the other codex if we want balance. That isn't balance, that's codex creep. You know? But what we want is balance. And I do think we had that in the first couple of books. Dark Angels were a bit of the outlier. They were a little bit too good, and a lot of people couldn't deal with it because of the no better than 4+. But we had an infantry meta. That's where we were at. Vehicles weren't really good. It was just rate of fire and infantry and combat. Whereas now, Drukhari are very good at killing infantry, and they bring lots of vehicles, which people haven't been expecting. Which is a problem. It's a real big problem. Dark Angels might be able to give him a good fight. Yeah, Dark Angels are going to be able to give him a good fight, just because they're really hard to wound. But the problem is like, Drukhari, a lot of the time, except for liquefiers, are wounding your foes anyway, because of poison. But the poison's just like, kind of like the bonus to everything else. You've got the Flyer, the Void Raven, which is really good. You've got the Dark Techno liquefiers, which are really good. Liquimancers, that might be a good coin to phrase it for it. So it's tough. It's real tough. You can need Chaos Cards affiliate for Pokemon. Hey, there's a company who wants to sponsor me and sort me out a good deal, then let me know. I already had massive Dark Elder army, but no, 0 Raiders or Ravagers as Venom Spam was the way to go. Yeah, Raiders have definitely become good, but that's the thing with new codexes. They'll always make what's not very good better, and make what's good a bit worse. So Venoms are still decent, don't get me wrong, which is great, but Raiders are just a little bit better. for not many more points. I think Raiders are like so little points compared. Hopefully it turns into rock, paper, scissors. Sometimes credits comes out and the key to it being able to only take the most powerful units is next on the line. But that's the thing, that's just codex creep, which we don't really want. What we want is balance, right? We want every army to be viable. Viable is the word for it. We didn't get that in 8th edition. It was the newest codex was always best. And it's happening again. But the problem is this one is a little too best, you know? It does everything. There's a lot of counters on paper to Drukhari, but Drukhari themselves are just very aggressively costed and you'll never trade evenly with them currently. Yeah, exactly. So Drukhari always trade up in a game. And by trade up, I mean you take a unit which is worth 100 points and they'll always take out more than 100 points, which is good. That's a really good trade. And Drukhari are very efficient at doing that. You know? So what they need is either less killy or more points. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Every time they put a new codex out. Currently pointing how all armies were pointed before that sweeping 10 points increase to all the armies. Yeah, this is true. So yeah, Drukhari are probably playing with like 2,200 maybe. Mike, do you mind explaining to the uninitiated what this Succubus is like in combat? So the Succubus is pretty mental. So for like 60 points, you can make it a Master Succubus if you want to make it 75 points. And a Master Succubus basically can consolidate 6 inches in any direction. So that's kind of like, on paper, that's what it does. Now, the thing is, a Succubus, it has a bunch of attacks. And you generally give it combat drugs, warlord traits, and relics to boost the amount of attacks. Now, you can take, like, the Dark Lotus Toxin, which increases damage by 1, unless it's a relic. So pretty much it's flat 2 damage all the time. Adrenal Light gives it plus attacks, there's warlord traits to give plus attacks. There's the Triptych Whip, which gives it plus attacks as well. So you're probably looking at a 75-point model which can put out 12 attacks with damage 2, minus AP 3 usually. Wounded on 4s or better. It's just a lot of attacks. And then when you add in the competitive edge, where the competitive edge reads, which is another warlord trait basically. Let me tell you what that does. Because the competitive edge has funky wording, that's why I have to read it. The competitive edge is a warlord trait. It says each time this warlord fights, if all of its attacks target one enemy unit, after resolving all of those attacks, it can make a number of additional attacks against that enemy unit equal to the number of attacks that did not reach the inflict damage step of the attack sequence during that fight. So essentially when it rolls to hit and wound, and then when you take saves, anything that didn't hit or didn't wound or didn't make, or the opponent passed the armor save, you roll all those attacks again. The problem is there's no limit on that either, because it doesn't say you can only do this once. So technically, after it attacks, and you've missed with 1, you've failed to wound with 1, and then made 2 armor saves. Okay, so all that damage goes through. It's damage 2, and it's got 12 attacks, so 16 damage so far. These 4 attacks that didn't do anything because they didn't inflict damage then get rolled again, so you get another 4 attacks. And let's say, none of them went through. Okay, so there's still 4 that didn't inflict damage. Because of the way competitive edge is worded, it says that there's no limit, it doesn't stop. So like those didn't inflict damage, so now roll them again. It's not a reroll though, John. It's more attacks. It's generating new attacks. That's the problem with it. It's a boosted auto hitting solitaire. Yeah, the problem is the way the competitive edge works is that essentially if you can put out 20 damage, it'll just do 20 damage. You can't stop it. The competitive edge is definitely rules as intended, only meant to be once. That will surely get corrected. That's the thing. Hopefully it does. It is in a different book than the FAQ that we've already had. it's in the Book of Rust. It's not in the Drukhari Codex. But the problem is that the Drukhari Codex and the Book of Rust came out on the same day, so why were they not both FAQ'd on the same day? Drukhari, the glass cannon that's basically become just a cannon. It is just a cannon. It's like the broadside of a warship and everyone else is in dinghies. Will the Book of Rust get an FAQ tomorrow? I hope so, because that means I've got a topic for the show. Hey, thank you much for the sub. Spark plug, really appreciate it. Thank you much for your Twitch Prime. Hell yeah, thank you much, dude. Really appreciate it. Have you got Twitch Prime? You want to steal $5 from Jeff Bezos and give it to me? Link your account right now. I haven't issued FAQ another book yet to give people a chance to buy the models affected. Yeah, they're like, oh shit, the Book of Rust hasn't been FAQ, so everyone buys Succubus and Dark Techno Liquefiers. Let's go! Let's go! But that's the thing. It's just little things. It's little things all added up. The problem is if it's one little thing, and I think that's the biggest issue with this book, or these books, is that when a codex has one thing that's really good, the limitation for it is rule of 3. You know? If a unit's obnoxious, you can only take 3 of them. Okay? The problem is with Drukhari is there's lots of units that are very obnoxious. So there's basically no limit to the obnoxiousness. That makes sense? I agree they'll need some point adjustment, but also the meta will adapt. The meta will adapt. That's the thing. But I think if someone says the Drukhari feel like they fight like an elite army, but they're a horde army. If they FAQ, people won't buy, so they wait. Exactly. I mean, maybe if we just go to the Games Workshop website. Not that I'm criticising Games Workshop business practices. It's very clever. It's very, very clever. If we go here and we search racks. Want to buy some? Ah, look, they're sold out. Now, were they sold out before they got good, or were they always sold out? Who knows? Let's get Succubus. Oh, Succubus is sold out. Hey, Malcador, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime, bro. Really appreciate it. Hell yeah. Thank you very much for stealing from Jeff Bezos. Succubus is also out. It's like Raiders. Raider. Oh, you can buy the Raider. Okay. You can buy the Raider. Fair. Maybe they were always sold out. Maybe Games Workshop are having production issues. Well, maybe it's because they keep writing really good rules, so people keep panic buying. Also, Liquefy's only got 1 per pack. So to get 1 unit, you need to buy 2 boxes. Funny that, isn't it? That's what I thought was stealing. The problem is racks are so efficient with 2 liquefiers. So 2 liquefiers is the go-to loadout. Right. Okay, let's do this. Let's do some counting. 1 second, let's do some counting. You'll like this, guys, honestly. Okay, let's do some shopping. Okay, let's do some counting together. Okay, this is the box of racks. Okay, how many liquefiers do you see on that sprue? How many liquefiers do we see? See 0. We see 0 liquefiers on that sprue. Okay, next one. Slight spot. Like, where's Wally? This is what this is. Okay, how many liquefiers do we see? Can we see it? We see it. Oh, look, there is one. Look at that. There's one. 1 liquefier. Love that. One. Type 1 in the chat. 1 liquefier. Okay, there's this cool gun. That's cool. There's this stick. That's cool. Cool swords. Love that. There's a bit of a flail. Okay, 1 more sprue. Okay, how many liquefiers do we see on this sprue? Anyone? Do I have to say it? That's the sniper gun. That's the liquid. Oh, is it that liquefier there? I thought that was the liquefier. My bad. It's that one, isn't it? There's only one, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. There's not two liquefiers. Oh, maybe there is. Oh my god. Is that a liquefier? I thought it was that. So stupid. Alright, fair. Okay. That was a completely redundant point because there's actually two. Oh, I love that redundant point I just made. Rip. That was funny. I hope everyone enjoyed that. The liquefier is a pistol. That's so stupid. Here's me thinking the hex rifle was a liquefier, just because I was like, oh yeah, it's a two-handed weapon, it's a flamer. Does it have a pistol profile? No, okay. That's alright then. Who would use the hex rifle? Jesus Christ. My bad. Big brain. Can I get some F's in the chat? Hi, King Beryl. How are you? Interesting. I mean, that's what I'm here for, Tom. You know? That's what I'm here for. To remind everyone that I'm stupid. But still, you can't buy them. It doesn't matter how many's on spring. You still can't buy them. What, Hellions? Hellions out of stock as well? Hellions are also out of stock. I don't know why I'm searching each one. Let's just go to the Drukhari range and see what's out of stock. And that's the thing. Games Workshop are here to sell you stuff. You know? I like how they still got Psychic Awakening here, like that would work. Void Raven, excellent unit, out of stock. Rax, excellent unit, out of stock. Reavers, pretty good unit, out of stock. Finecast characters, yeah, whatever, no worries. Succubus, out of stock. Drazar, Hellions. You know? Witches, also out of stock. Jesus Christ, man. So why do you think codexes get good? Why do you think that is? List / army to Drukhari right now, what would you take? I think the best counter is going to be Admech, but if I had to build it right now, I'd probably, as someone mentioned in the chat, probably spam a lot of Vanguard veterans because they all have invuns, so their AP is ignored. And with Lightning Claws, they've got a lot of attacks and they're re-rolling. And also, if you saw a battle report yesterday, I really, really rate the Terminus Est Assault Force. Poxwalkers are obnoxiously good, and there's a lot of them, and they're very cheap. Now, it's 100 points for 20 Poxwalkers, which can do mortal wounds. And for 2 CP, you can basically make them reroll hits and do mortal wounds. Which is really strong. Really, really strong. And then when they kill the Drukhari, they get more back. Make the Succubus 69 points. Hell yeah, let's do that. That's what I'd do. That's what I'd do. It's either take a horrific Horde army, which is so stupid, it'll break your back while you're playing it. Or taking something that's just super resilient. You know, resilience is key. 10 points on Raiders, correct liquefiers, correct flail / edge, and I think that's all they need, but they will stay top tier, keeping the field but not unbeatable. Yeah, exactly. It's just little thing. Again, it's like I said earlier, like in every codex there's something that's really good, but you only get 3 of them. Whereas with Drukhari, everything's good, so there's no limit. You know, everything's just a little bit too efficient. If instead of codex creep we get rock, paper, scissors, I'm okay with that, as we'll end up with interesting trade-offs. The other codex I think is actually broken so far is the Space Wolves. The Space Wolves are bad. The thing is, again, as I've kind of mentioned a few times, with rock, paper, scissors, with like new codex beats old codex, is that you just get codex creep. So codexes which were already struggling are left further behind, which is not what you want in a game. Are people going to say GW stop hating hate Xenos players now? Necron's good, get great new range. Harlequins are smashing it now, and Dark Elf top tier. That's the thing. The best players, when you have codex creep, the best players will adjust and adapt and overcome. You know, look at like the Dallas Open with Sean Naden doing really well with Yanari of all things. He's obviously an excellent player, one of the world's best. The problem is when you're not on the top tables, that's where the real issue is with codex creep. You know, it's normal people playing that won't have a good time because one codex is just better than another, which isn't fair. You know, to a point, fine. You know, that's sales tactics. We understand, not stupid. Well, the problem is that the game is designed to be enjoyed by multiple people, not just by the people chasing the meta, because they've adapted to the top tables. The top tables has its own little meta, but then everyone on lower tables just can't, because I brought Necron, which is 6 months old, and you brought Admech, which are 2 weeks old, I lose because you've got a better codex than me. That isn't really fair, and that's not how the game should be. When Drukhari come out, when Admech come out, they should be good. They should be good, but they shouldn't be good forever. You know, they shouldn't just be obnoxiously good. What do you think of Blade Guard veterans currently compared to vets? Blade Guard veterans are very good board control, whereas Vanguard vets are very good offensive units because of the speed. Rock, paper, scissors is the worst idea. Look at WM/HRD. I don't know what WM/HRD is, but I agree. I agree with your point. I don't know your example. So that's the problem with rock, paper, scissors, I think. Void Dragon has targets now. The problem is with the Void Dragon is he just dies to poison. He just gets shot. He just gets shot by poison from across the board. The 3 wounds on Blade Guard is useful. This is true. This is very true. I think, again, like Blade Guard are really good for like ground control. Like get them into the middle of the board and they kind of just stay there. Whereas Vanguard vets are very good at like flying around the board and just dealing damage. War Machine's hordes. I mean, I played War Machine for maybe 6 months, like 10 years ago. But I imagine if that was the issue, that was the issue. That's be a difference between new/unknown needs getting used to, getting surprised by codex, and just new and OP. I agree, Sparkplug. I agree. I feel they've done a bit of codex creep, played battles when knife head, but started a conversion now with Dark Mech using Dark Ally and Admech kicks. Nice, dude. Yeah, because if it's rock, paper, scissors, then winning an event is heavily affected by the look of what armies you play to victory. Exactly, Master Arcade, and it should be your skill. It shouldn't come down to you've got the newest codex and you dodged all the other new ones. We're in a weird place where old codex should only play old codexes basically and make it a pain for Battle Rep channel. Exactly, and that I don't know if people have noticed, but that's what we've been doing in the past few battle reports. We're not. I did it against Elliot because, arguably, not to toot my own horn, I'm a better player than Elliot, and if we play with equal footing, I'm probably going to win. But whereas I can kind of play an underdog army and give it a good go, but you'll find that on the channel, on this channel especially, is that I'm not really allowing old codexes to play new codexes unless a very good player is playing an old codex, you know? Because they're just so good compared, they're so efficient compared, you know? Which is a shame, really. As new codexes come out, it's not going to be an issue, hopefully. Unless Drukhari stay good. But the problem is like, in a tournament setting, you can't avoid it, and it's a shame. A real shame. Elliot, when Mikey says he's a better player, I mean. What happened to the rumor that a lot of codexes were play tested prior to tonight? I mean, they are play tested. Did you hear anything I said about the out of stock? Have you seen Games Workshop's web store? It's play tested perfectly. They're a company that sells models, sadly. You know? They'll always be a little bit better. They'll always be the best counter. Again, I think the meta will adapt, but I think with a couple of fixes, the meta will adapt nicely, not badly. At least Drukhari didn't get OP secondaries though, mostly. Yeah, the secondaries are okay. Let's probably them on the save his grace. The secondaries are decent, not great. Can't wait to dust my years old Drukhari Venom Span list off. Nice. Flashback to that intervention meeting. Yeah, it was funny that. They are play tested, but not by the top level competitive players who come out with this broken shit. The thing is, they are play tested, but the play testers don't write the codex. The play testers write the FAQ. So that FAQ, frequently asked questions, frequently asked by play testers. That's what it should say. You know, the play testers might play a real early draft of a codex, but they don't write the codex. You know, the rules writers do. I mean, that's what a lot of people are kind of missing, is that a play tester doesn't write the book, just tests it and says what they think. You know, they play with it and then say what they think. The problem is when you've got a pool of maybe 50 people, that's a push. I don't think there's 50 playtesters. When you got a full pool of 50 playtesters, like looking at a codex and being like, yeah, it's fine, and then you put it out into the wider world and give it to thousands of people, someone else is going to get spotted, you know? Could also just disregard what the playtesters say. Exactly, Dave. Exactly, mate. And there's another scrub question. Is someone about to take his new army off Sprue? How important is it the models themselves match the issue intend to play loadout weapon-wise? Flick, it's very important. Very, very important. It causes a lot of issues for competitive play because, as we've kind of mentioned, sadly not with the racks, but as we've kind of mentioned with certain units, is that one weapon will be really good, but then Games Workshop will only supply that one weapon per box of 5, and you can take 5, which is a real shame. Which makes loadouts real difficult. But yeah, so like if you're playing with friends, then a lot of people won't mind. But if you're playing in like in an event or a tournament, or you know, like an organized play, let's call it organized play, because not all events are tournaments. If you're playing organized play and you're playing with strangers, it's usually best to have the correct weapons on your models, which is why magnetizing is always quite popular, or being lazy and just buying more models and then building them how you need them. Got your tournament ticket booked in. I'm only playing the LGT so far. I'm obviously running my own events in August. You might have seen on Facebook there'll be tickets going up soon. And we're hopefully going to be running an event in June as well. But currently I've only got the LGT booked, and then No Retreat Legends in November. That is it so far. I didn't want to book too many because I didn't really know what was happening later in the year. Mikey getting Vanguard vets magnetizing flashbacks. Yes, that is exactly what you just saw, as I cried a little bit. Sometimes the guys over at Tabletop Tactics make it sound like they told GW a rule is broken and GW just keep it like that anyway. The thing is that by the time the playtesters have the book, it's already gone to print. It takes months to print. So then the FAQ is where the playtesters have the real power, you know? August event with 48 Drukhari players, says Tonksy. Yeah, exactly. Damn, so I can't build them today unless I find lists, future-proofing while I learn, etc. Yeah, it's real tough as a new player. Again, it's kind of like a lot of units, if they're really how do you call it? If they've got loads of options, it's going to be really tough, but a lot of units don't, or they don't come with much that's easy to magnetize. Like vehicles are really easy to magnetize, because they just have like one weapon or a couple of weapons that just sit on a rack. But like infantry, damn. Interesting. But purely Drukhari, this is pre-coded choice. Well, the thing is like Kabalites, you're fine to build. Racks, you're pretty much fine to build. It's witches are probably interesting, but again, there's usually like one weapon that's really good, and it usually happens out of nowhere. That's the problem with 40k. So if you're looking to play casually, mate, just go for it, because you've got a good army. It doesn't really matter what they've got. If you're wanting to play like super competitive, then maybe build an army, learn how to play, and then think about maybe I need to actually buy some more units so I can actually give them the weapons I need. Incubi good, yeah. The Clavex are really good. Just the leader has a weapon option, and when it's just that, it doesn't really matter because they're very similar. I think some light proxying should be fine. I agree. I like fine proxying. The problem is it's just confusing for when you're playing. I wrote an article for Raging Heroes about proxying, and I've always said that like the problem is it's easy to do you as a player, but the problem is making it confusing for your opponent, which is what you don't want when you're playing a game. You don't want your opponent being like, "What's that guy again?" and then him thinking one thing when it's actually another, and that's the issue with proxying. I'm going to build Incubi / Venoms / Leather, maybe someone else today. So with Venoms, you probably want splinter cannons on the bottom, but they'll be really easy to magnetize to splinter rifles. Because it's only one weapon on the underneath, if you wanted to magnetize. Incubi pretty much only have one build, so they're easy to build as well. And Lithis is a character. She's a special character, so she doesn't have options. So you're all good. All good. Me magnetize. Harlequin troops, yeah, exactly. That's why I haven't built my Harlequin army yet. I'm waiting for the codex. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to stick all the bloody melter guns on and then them get nerfed to crap. Mike, if you had a magic wand and could run GW codex production, how would you stop this from happening? Problem is that they want to sell models, but the thing is you've just got to control how strong something is. That's what you've got to do. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate it. So you've got to make sure that when things do come out, they aren't going to... The thing is, what they need to do is they need to playtest the codex before printing, which I know they don't do. They don't do that. I know they don't. You can tell. You can really tell. I have an entire Harlequin side death mask on the ears from years ago. Yeah. So I bought an entire Harlequin design because I got it really cheap, all in box. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I could like build this on a weekend, stream it, it'll be really cool. And I was like, wait a minute. Every single one of those models has options. And the problem is, as we've already spoken about, is that when a new codex comes out, they make one loadout really bad, which was good, and what was bad, good. So if you've got a new codex, now's the time to build your models. If you haven't got a new codex and you've got a brand new army, don't build it. Just wait. Unless you don't have options, obviously. Just use sticky notes for proxies, demolish Alina and Roscoe. Yeah, that's what I do for remembering rules these days. If you've been watching on Premium, I've been playing some armies that I'm not used to. So I've been like having little notes follow them around. I'm like, he's got this psychic power, it does this. He's got this, it's got this. They should just jump onto TTS to playtest before they send the books to print. I mean, they just need to playtest, you know? Send out digital copies early and be like, right, this codex isn't coming out for 2 years. What do you think? But then the problem is the people playtesting are very, very well known. So, and they probably don't trust them because there has been leaks in the past. And they play the game already. Whereas the people playtesting need to be a couple of months in head, you know? 3D printing coming in clutch for bits these days, it is, you know, which is a real shame because Games Workshop should just supply you with the bits, you know. If you could take 5 in a unit, you should be able to get 5 in the box. That's my opinion, but is there actually an overall problem with the new Drukhari codex, or is it just doing well because it's actually focused around 9th? I think it's both, Namco. We've kind of mentioned. I'm gonna have to end the stream any minute because it's George's birthday, and we've got stuff to do. Basically, I've got to stop in 4 minutes. The thing is that Drukhari just trade up really well. They always trade up, you know. All the units are very efficient at killing stuff, but also the army is very good at playing the mission because there's lots of it now. So everything's just a little bit too efficient, you know. GW is scared of leaks, but there's so many easy solutions. Digital copies with watermarks all over them. I mean, they get leaks anyway. Look at the Mournival last year, you know. That's the playtesting group that leaked points. The Blazers that I know are working a year or more ahead of releases. There's no way the codex was already sent to print. I mean, who? The whole 9th codex rollout is a farce, if anyway. No digital codex created slow codex creep. I mean, I don't think the digital codex has created the creep. The creep is the fact the codex is really good. I got to go start an stream. Have fun, Jamartin. Yeah, we're going to go out for dinner today. And again, I wanted to release a video today, but just had a really shit weekend. So I didn't get it finished. The world's fastest painter one. But yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go. So I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you very much for all of the super chats and the membership. It's very, very cool. I want to thank you all for the subscriptions from Datson's Dog, Sparkplug, and all the Twitch Primes. Really appreciate it. We're gonna go and have dinner. You want to say bye? Don't say everyone. It's Georgie. It's Georgie's birthday.
Thank you for the nice birthday wishes. I hope you're well.
Everyone's wishing you more happy birthdays.
Oh, bless them. Thank you.
So if you've got any great pictures of Georgie, post them in the Discord. I'm going to post them all over Instagram in a bit.
Do that.
So thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Really appreciate it. Hope you've had a good time. I've had a good time. I had a nice bitch. You're going to go. Okay. That last song was amazing, was that? What do you mean? That? Oh, the last song? Ooh, I don't know. Let me try back, see if that works. It was Yellow Magic Orchestra by Rydeen from 1979. Good tune. Good tune. Well, we're going to go, so thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Hope you had a good time. I'll be back tomorrow night at 6 PM with Jay. We'll also be planning our... May's really busy. Not only is it Georgie's anniversary of being alive. Of being alive. It's also Coffee Time's anniversary very soon. And it's also mine and Jay's Monday night stream anniversary, which we've got something very cool planned. Something very, very cool planned, which should be fun. So, thank you very much, everyone. I love you all. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to raid someone. If you're watching on YouTube, the stream will end very soon.
I love you all too, by the way. Thank you.
There you go. Lots and lots of love. Who's in Warhammer? I'm not going to be able to stick around, so if anyone can just say hi, if you're on Twitch. We're going to raid... Who do you think?
Let's pick.
Commission painting, Blood Angels.
Yes.
Why not?
You love Blood
Barkax miniatures. So we'll raid that guy.
Do something nice together. Hopefully, we're gonna try. It was really sunny this morning, so we're gonna go and have like an outdoor lunch.
Yeah, we're gonna go out food.
So
oh dear. Oh dear God.
Jumper. Oh, is Jamartin streaming?
He's playing Magic though. He's not doing 40k.
Because Magic's better game than 40k.
So thank you much, everyone. Really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your lovely Sunday. Again, back tomorrow at 6 PM. Bye now. Woo!